Maud. 14. Maud has a garden of roses and lilies fair on a lawn. There she walks in her state, and tends upon bed and bower. And thither I climbed at dawn, and stood by her garden gate. A lion ramps at the top. He is clasped by a passion flower. Maud's own little oak room, which Maud, like a precious stone, set in the heart of the carven gloom, lights with herself when alone. She sits by her music and books, and her brother lingers late. With a roistering company looks upon Maud's own garden gate. And I thought as I stood, if a hand as white as ocean foam in the moon were laid on the hasp of the window, and my delight had a sudden desire, like a glorious ghost, to glide, like a beam of the seventh heaven, down to my side. There were but a step to be made. The fancy flattered my mind, and again seemed overbold. Now I thought that she cared for me. Now I thought she was kind, only because she was cold. I heard no sound where I stood, but the rivulet on from the lawn, running down to my own dark wood, or the voice of the long sea wave as it swelled now and then in the dim gray dawn. But I looked, and round, all round the house I beheld the death-white curtain drawn, felt a horror over me creep, prickle my skin and catch my breath, knew that the death-white curtain meant but sleep. Yet I shuddered, and I thought like a fool of the sleep of death. Yeah, pay attention to how interested people are. 15. So dark a mind within me dwells, and I make myself such evil cheer, that if I be dear to someone else, then someone else may have much to fear. But if I be dear to someone else, then I should be to myself more dear. Shall I not take care of all that I think, yea, even of wretched meat and drink, if I be dear? If I be dear to someone else. 16. This lump of earth has left his estate, the lighter by the loss of his weight, and so that he find what he went to seek, and fulsome pleasure clog him and drown his heart in the gross mud-honey of town. He may stay for a year who is gone for a week, but this is the day when I must speak, and I see my Ored coming down. This is the day. Oh, beautiful creature, what am I, that I dare to look her way? Think I may hold dominion sweet, lord of the pulse that is lord of her breast, and dream of her beauty with tender dread, from the delicate Arab arch of her feet to the grace that, bright and light as the crest of a peacock, sits on her shining head, and she knows it not. Oh, if she knew it, to know her beauty might half undo it. I know it, the one bright thing to save my yet young life in the wilds of time, perhaps from madness, perhaps from crime, perhaps from a selfish grave. What if she be fastened to this full lord? Dare I bid her abide by her word? Should I love her so well if she had given her word to a thing so low? Shall I love her as well if she can break her word? Were it even for me, I trust that it is not so. Catch not my breath, O clamorous heart. Let not my tongue be a thrall to my eye, For I must tell her before we part, I must tell her or die. XVIII. I have led her home, my love, my only friend. There is none like her, none, and never yet so warmly ran my blood, and sweetly on, calming itself to the long-wished-for end, full to the banks, close on the promised good. None like her, none. Now just the dry-tongued laurel's pattering talk seemed her light foot along the garden walk, and shook my heart to think she comes once more. And even then I heard her close the door. The gates of heaven are closed, and she is gone. There is none like her, none, nor will be when our summers have deceased. Oh, art thou sighing for Lebanon, in the long breeze that streams to thy delicious east? Sighing for Lebanon, dark cedar, thou thy limbs have here increased, upon a pastoral slope as fair, and looking to the south, and fed with honeyed rain and delicate air, and haunted by the starry head of her whose gentle will has changed my fate, and made my life a perfumed altar flame, and over whom thy darkness must have spread with such delight as theirs of old, thy great forefathers of the thornless garden, there, shadowing the snow-limbed Eve from whom she came. Here will I lie, while these long branches sway, and you, fair stars that crown a happy day, go in and out as if at merry play. Who am no more so all forlorn as when it seemed far better to be born, to labor and the mattock hardened hand, than nursed at ease and brought to understand a sad astrology, the boundless plan that makes you tyrants in your iron skies, innumerable, pitiless, passionless eyes, cold fires yet with power to burn and brand his nothingness into man. But now shine on, and what care I, who in the stormy gulf have found the pearl, the counter-charm of space and hollow sky, and do accept my madness and would die, to save from some slight shame one simple girl, would die, for sullen-seeming death may give more life to love than is or ever was in our low world, where yet 'tis sweet to live. No one ask me how it came to pass. It seems that I am happy, that to me a livelier emerald twinkles in the grass, a purer sapphire melts into the sea. Not die, but live a life of truest breath, and teach true life to fight with mortal wrongs. Oh, why should love, like men in drinking songs, spice his fair banquet with the dust of death? Make answer, Maud, my bliss. Maud made my Maud, that long-loving kiss. Life of my life, wilt thou not answer this? The dusky strand of death inwoven here with dear love's tie makes love himself more dear. Is that enchanted moan only the swell of the long waves that roll in yonder bay? And hark, the clock within the silver knell of 12 sweet hours that passed in bridal white, and died to live as long as my pulses play. But now by this my love has closed her sight, and given false death her hand, and stolen away to dreamful wastes where footless fancies dwell among the fragments of the golden day. May nothing there her maiden grace affright. Dear heart, I feel with thee the drowsy spell, my bride to be, my evermore delight, my own heart's heart, my ownest own farewell. It is but for a little space I go, and ye, meanwhile, far over moor and fell, beat the noiseless music of the night. Has our whole earth gone nearer to the glow of your soft splendors, that you look so bright? I have climbed nearer out of lonely hell. Beat, happy stars, timing with things below. Beat with my happy heart, more blessed than heart can tell. Blessed, but for some dark undercurrent woe that seems to draw, but it shall not be so. Let all be well, be well. And this, of course, is important to realize the hot and cold aspect of, and sometimes it's both, and, as a result of both, partially. 19. Her brother is coming back tonight, breaking up my dream of delight. My dream, do I dream of bliss? I have walked awake with truth. Oh, when did a morning shine, so rich in atonement as this, for my dark dawning youth, darkened, watching a mother decline, and that dead man at her heart and mine? For who was left to watch her but I? Yet so did I let my freshness die. I trust that I did not talk to gentle Maud in our walk, for often in lonely wanderings I have cursed him even to lifeless things. But I trust that I did not talk, not touch, on her father's sin. I am sure I did but speak of my mother's faded cheek, when it slowly grew so thin that I felt she was slowly dying, vexed with lawyers and harassed with a debt. For how often I caught her with eyes all wet, shaking her head at her son and sighing, a world of trouble within. And Maud, too, Maud was moved to speak of the mother she loved, as one scarce less forlorn, dying abroad, and it seems apart from him who had ceased to share her heart, and ever mourning over the feud, the household fury, sprinkled with blood, by which our houses are torn. How strange was what she said, and only Maud and the brother hung over her dying bed, that Maud's dark father and mine had bound us one to the other, betrothed us over their wine, on the day when Maud was born, sealed her mine from her first sweet breath, mine, mine by right, and from birth till death, mine, mine, our fathers have sworn. But the true blood spilt had in it a heat to dissolve the precious seal on a bond that, if left uncancelled, had been so sweet, and none of us thought of a something beyond, a desire that awoke in the heart of the child, as it were a duty done to the tomb, to be friends for her sake, be reconciled. And I was cursing them and my doom, while letting a dangerous thought run wild, while often abroad in the fragrant gloom, a foreign church